I was able to co-design and direct the Kobe Bryant tribute. It was fresh after he passed. It was within weeks. And so that experience, people ask me, okay, between football and basketball, what's your favorite? Well, I was about to play basketball in college. So basketball, is my preferred sport.
Log on.
Right here.
Yeah.
What's going on, my good peoples? This your boy Byron B.Rut Rudley, aka the little big fella, the Midwest mogul, the mitten-made midget. You already know what we do. You already know who we do it for. Thank you for tuning into The Backstage. The Backstage is a show where we discuss all things behind the scenes, from video production to photography to music production, even live entertainment, bringing you the best in the business. All right, we're talking about the pros, the cons, and the challenges we face as industry professionals. So I want to thank you each and every time you tune in. It's a blessing to us. All right, right here on The Backstage right now is a special guest that I'm excited to introduce to you guys right here on The Backstage. All right, so this guest that I have today, listen, I've been knowing her for a minute, and when I tell you, she gets it in behind the scenes. She makes it happen for live productions, entertainment, graphic artwork. I've seen her work. I have been a recipient of her work, and I've been blessed to do some work with her, and I want to introduce her right here to The Backstage. All right. So today's guest is the CEO of Man-Made Productions. She's from Detroit, Michigan. She's a creative director, and you've seen her graphic artwork on big productions all across the world. I'm talking about projects such as the Church of God in Christ, Allstar Gospel Celebration, and the Super Bowl Gospel Celebration. All right. I want to introduce to you guys today my friend, my partner, Rochelle Mann. What's happening?
Hey, what's happening?
There she is. Thanks for coming on to The Backstage, yo.
Yes, sir.
Yo.
Yes, sir.
I am thankful to have you. I've been knowing you for a minute now. And
it has been a minute. It's been a minute.
I'm going to tell you my earliest memory of you. You probably don't even remember this. You probably don't remember this.
I think I know where you're going. Let's go.
You think so? Okay, so I want to say about 15 years ago, my brothers and I had the privilege of singing at an event in Detroit. And I believe it was some type of award show. And I think 2103 sung too. And I remember I didn't even know what your position was. I just knew you was important. Because I remember you was like escorting everybody in, like, yo, come this way. Okay. You had the earpiece on and you was like, come this way. Okay. You guys next. You going to use this mic? Y'all can use that mic. And I was like, yo, she is popping. She behind the scenes. I don't know what her title is or her position is. But you was getting it in. You was making it happen. Do you know what the event that was?
I think the event that you're talking about is a benefit event that we did for some kids who had lost their mother, if I'm not mistaken.
Really?
Because it might have been Anton Foster in chemistry. I think Presence, 2103.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that might have been the one.
That's what it was. And I was like,
yes.
Ever since then, every time I saw you, I'd be like, hey, I make sure I speak because I'm like, yo, she's somebody that I need to know in the future. I already knew it.
That's crazy.
Yep.
I think I thought the one you were gonna go after was when you guys first really met Mitch. And I was managing Mitch from commission.
Really?
And y'all were rehearsing or something. and y'all had him as a special guest for him to come in and do a song or stuff like that. And I think we had came to Berea. I think we
Mm,
came by Berea for a second for that. That's the
yes.
one that I thought that you was gonna mention.
Which one came first? I don't even remember. Cause let me see. When he came and spoke
I
at our when he
don't.
came and spoke, that had to be like 2008, 2009. Okay, so listen. So Mitch came. No, 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 no. My
Ooh.
brothers went to the studio and recorded with him at his crib. That was 2007. I
Mm-hmm.
was a senior in high school because I couldn't make it. I was the only one that wasn't at that session because I had a football game that night.
Ah.
The rest of the brothers was there. I didn't make it. So that was 2007. So he might have came and spoke that same year or the next year,
It was
2007 or
that
8.
that that was after the event because I hadn't moved to Saginaw yet.
Oh,
Yeah. So your memory was
it was
earlier
a
than
little
mine. I
earlier.
gotta give it to you.
That's
Okay,
what's
go for
up.
it. Go for it.
Yeah. So listen, you are a creative director. How did you get to be a creative director? Not saying that anybody gave you the opportunity because you are a person that I've always known to make it happen. Like, where did you start?
Oh, I actually was kind of molded into it.
Mm,
So, as far as how my brain works, I always picture everything almost as a story.
okay.
So, before I knew and understood what branding was and everything, I would try to think of how a message creatively, visually, audibly would happen from the beginning to the end, whether it be a movie, listening to how the music kind of portrayed. And so I started living that with my graphics. So, with all of the event planning and the administrating that I knew how to do, it was now catch this. So I was doing some stuff for Mitch and Commission.
Mm.
They had just finished the Commission reunion live.
In
They had
2000,
just finished that recording
the one in 2000.
in
That.
2000. Well, yeah, but then they went on the road.
Oh,
After
okay.
that, they went on the road. So when they went on the road, and I was still doing some stuff with them around 2003, 2004, I was like, you know what? Because what year was the Super Bowl in Detroit?
That was, I want to say that was like 2000, and I was a senior in high school.
Four or
So
five?
I think that was 7 because I was a senior. I was a senior. So I
Okay.
think that was like
So,
06, 07.
so the year before that
Mm-hmm.
is when I reached out to Melanie Few, who's the executive producer and founder of the Super Bowl Gospel Celebration.
Mm.
I reached out to her to pitch putting commission on the Detroit show, not knowing she already had the Winans and Mary Mary.
And this was back then.
So after this was back then,
Mm.
this is how far back everything goes. But I reached out to her as far as the music scene
Mm.
happened for me. And so within conversation, she was like, well, what else do you do? Or what
Mm.
else do you know how to do? And so by the end of the conversation, she said, well, I'm coming into town. How would you like to shadow me?
Mm.
So we started working together, and we've been working together ever since. She has molded me and she's helped me and shaped me on the business side as well as the creative side.
Mm.
And I've been a creative director now. This is my 5th year as the official creative director for the Super Bowl Gospel Celebration.
Wow. So let's go back. So you were inspired as a youngin, watching certain programs, seeing certain things on TV. What were some things
Yep.
that your early memories of things that inspired you? Was it like certain TV shows, or was it certain graphics that was like corny, and you was like, "Yo, I could do better than this"? What was in like
But you,
inspiration
you
for
know
you?
what? I'm gonna be honest. Watching sports games,
Mm.
yeah.
You
So
into
let's think
sports?
about it. Basketball, football. As a matter of fact, okay. So here's a fun fact. How about I was recruited by Xavier to play basketball?
Mm. Who was that?
They sent me a letter. Xavier University in
Got you.
Louisiana.
Mm.
And they recruited me, sent me a letter and everything, asked me if I wanted to come down and try out for the hoop squad. And instead, I decided to stay local,
Mm-hmm.
and I redshirted my freshman year from Oakland University
Mm.
for the women's basketball team. OU was just in their second or third year of being Division One.
Mm.
So that's my little backstory. Then I got plenty of family members and everything that have been a part of, collegiate and professional sports. But I will watch all these games, and I was always trying to figure out, okay, so we know the history of, Lakers and the Celtics, how there's always some storyline.
Mm.
And so my brain would always be trying to figure out how in the world are they having this storyline run from pre-show to throughout the game to post-game reports. And then no matter what the stats were, they were kicking out graphics like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of these animations and how they were doing the photography and how they were making so many different things happen and how in the world are they able to turn over replays so quick. All of that stuff intrigued me.
Facts.
So it wasn't just movies,
Yeah.
it was the professional games as well.
Wow. Got you. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes
So
sense.
everything, when it comes down to a storyline, everything is a LeBron James, King James storyline these days when it comes down to NBA basketball.
Mm-hmm.
The Lakers history. And so what is that story? And then creatively, how can that story be portrayed creatively or visually, and
Mm.
even as a whole direction, audibly in the whole nine?
Mm. Wow. So you began to see, as you were playing sports, you were watching the different programs and the different games and events that came on. And that's crazy because I had a similar type of situation. Me being a high school football player, I've seen certain games on TV that I was in, and I'm like, yo, I want to know how did they even make it look good on a high school level. I mean, of course, I expect
Mm-hmm.
it to look good, NBA or NFL, but even
Yeah,
high school sports, they had our stuff looking good, and I'm like, yo, that's interesting.
yeah.
So that makes sense how you got to where to the being the motivation and drive to where you are today is you being in
Yeah,
sports.
and for me, it was a matter of trying to think ahead. It's like, how fast can I think as fast as they think, and can I design as fast as they design, knowing some of the underlying and the undertones of what may happen during the course of a game,
Mm.
but can I think ahead and then pull the viewer into the whole full-fledged experience? So if I go to a Michigan State basketball game, is it the same experience as it is at home when you've got broadcasters, a team of broadcasters that's narrating the entire game?
Mm.
Do I feel like I'm in the seats?
Mm.
And what can I do creatively to
Mm.
help make that happen?
Wow, that's sweet. So did you go to school for graphics?
My degree was in information systems.
Mm.
And at Oakland University, it was the perfect blend between business and computers.
Okay.
And so within that, that was when everybody was starting to learn how to do websites,
Mm.
and how everybody was trying to learn how to make their MySpace page look a certain way.
Yeah.
So you're learning HTML code, but then you're learning how to have a corporate look. So all of that came from my information systems background at OU. And then I got my computer information systems to tighten up on project management, organizational structures, some of the book heavy type stuff for my master's degree.
Wow, that's what's up. So you actually went for information systems, and how did you? So you actually that's what you graduated in, or did you eventually switch to
Yeah.
graphic?
No, management information systems was my bachelor's. Computer information systems was my master's.
Mm,
And I still use, a lot of it for the business sense of it. It really helped me to be the entrepreneur that I am.
mm-hmm,
But the creative aspects of it, I've always been a creative.
mm.
My degrees just helped me to be a professional creative.
Got you. And do you think you could have done the same things you've been able to accomplish even if you didn't go to school for what you graduated with?
You know, possibly, but I wouldn't have had the balance that I have. Folks can say, what they want to say about not going to school. I'm glad for the career choice, the academic career choice that I chose, because it gave me not only the connections, but it gave me the book knowledge. Because now I can hold conversations with label executives, MBA executives, and everything else. We got a clubhouse out now.
Hmm.
I can actually be invited on stage, and I'm having conversations with the who's who.
Yeah.
I would not be able to understand the terminology to use in some of these meetings to secure the bag. So,
Mm,
yeah, I wouldn't have been able to do that. Folks can watch YouTube and learn how to design all day long, but if behind the stage or backstage,
mm.
you don't know how to seal the deal and secure the bag,
Yeah.
you just nothing but a designer.
Wow. So let me ask you this, and then I want to get into some slides and some things that you've been able to achieve and
Yeah,
accomplish. So compared
yeah.
to when you came out of OU
Hmm.
versus somebody that might be interested in getting to graphic design now, how important do you think it would be for somebody
Hmm.
now to go get an education or go to school to learn graphics versus YouTube University?
Well, here's the trick. With YouTube University, there's a lot of information that's out there. I ain't gonna hold you up.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of information that's out there. It's who you choose to listen to.
Mm,
Everybody needs to be balanced in understanding contractual law, copyrights and trademarks,
mm,
because a lot of people are ending up in lawsuits or unnecessary fights and arguments over who designed what.
mm,
If I copied this and I copied that, listen, design a flyer if you want to using the wrong information and get sued
mm,
and not know jack about what you're doing
mm.
and see what happened to you. You
Yeah.
might want to go get a 9 to 5 because they're gonna go ahead and rape you over the coals.
For
So
real.
my thing is, you don't necessarily. I'm gonna be honest. You don't necessarily have to go get a bachelor's degree,
Mm,
but get some sort of training
mm.
in ethics, organizational structure, business management, something so that you can cover yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Don't just be out here and be a designer
Yeah.
because, truth be told, I've watched subpar designers get picked up and be utilized and get the big bucks
Mm,
because they know how to carry themselves in the boardroom. How
mm.
do I know? I was one. I was one. I'm on conference calls and in conversations daily. And I know there's graphic designers that are out there better than me. I've got a few that I shadow.
Mm.
But because I know how to carry myself when I get up from the computer outside of the mouse and the keyboard,
Mm.
that's what's helping me to be successful. This is what has made this a career and not a hustle.
Yeah. Wow. Because it's a difference.
It's a big difference.
Wow. I like to say,
Whew.
we ain't new to this. We true to this. You know what I'm saying? And
15 years in,
ex-
15 years
yeah,
in.
yeah, yeah. Wow. So let's talk about that. And then I want to get into these slides and I want to show this work that you do. So let's talk about that.
Let's go.
A lot of people think that because they are great at what they do, they're
Hmm.
automatically going to be successful in that field. They could be the greatest camera operator, the greatest studio recording engineer, the greatest graphic designer. And a lot of people feel like just because they're great at what they do, that's their skill is what's going to get them to the top. Would you agree or disagree that the skill level is all you need, or is it more to the game than
No,
just being great at what you do?
it's more to it. It's
Mm,
more to it. Let's think about it. Let's think about it. Okay, you've got, let's say you've got McDonald's and Burger King. I'm gonna just dumb it down and just be real simple with it.
okay.
And let's say the McDonald's that's closest to your house
Mm,
forever have long lines and always get your order wrong.
mm,
Even though you love their fries more than Burger King
mm-hmm,
and they're closer to you, but the experience is always whack.
mm-hmm.
If you're hungry yet want the experience, you might drive an extra block and go to Burger King or Wendy's or something like that.
Facts.
Facts.
Longer
And
distance.
it's the same. and
Mm,
and and you're still gonna, it's like, okay, well, I can go ahead and just go to Burger King instead of McDonald's
mm,
because they're not gonna get my order wrong.
mm.
I know my food is gonna be fresh, and that's just if it's your experience, whatever happens in your area.
Yeah.
And so it's the same type of way. It's the same type of thing. You know, I can go ahead and hire, you know, Mr. ABC,
Mm-hmm.
and I know that the graphics are going to be fire.
Mm,
But how many arguments am I going to have to go get into with them? How late is my stuff going to be? Am I going to have to go back and forth with them 15,000 times? Um, just what is all going to happen? What is going to be the total customer experience?
mm,
And am I willing to just maybe get an A minus or B plus grade designer and it be a refreshing experience? 9 times out of 10, people are going to go for the refreshing
mm,
experience and give people that small space of grace
mm,
to learn each other
mm-hmm,
and then come up in skill set. That's what happened with me. And that's what has happened with a number of other people. And
mm,
that's actually what I'm doing with the graphic designers that I'm keeping my eye out for.
mm,
They don't necessarily have to be directly on my level, but if they're teachable and they are pleasant
mm,
and they portray the same spirit of excellence that I have,
mm.
oh, we can do this.
Wow. So what I got from that was the whole McDonald Burger King situation pertaining to our career fields. Our clients, they will fly us from Detroit, Michigan to
Mm-hmm.
wherever versus getting somebody in their own city because they know
Mm-hmm.
they're gonna get a quality product every time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Bam.
A quality experience, not just the product, a
Mm.
quality experience.
Mm-hmm. Wow. And to come with the experience is not only great work, but also they're gonna get communication. You know what I'm saying? And I've had this conversation many, many times. They're not really gonna have to ask for an update or well, how's that project coming along? No. The whole experience, I'm gonna call you and give you updates. I'm gonna let you know how it's going. I'm gonna let you know if I need something. They're really and I get that. You know what I mean? And I think that is a big deal and a great reason for me being where I am today is because like you said, that
Yeah.
experience, it's not just gonna be great work, but
Yeah.
they're gonna feel like their product is the only thing I'm working on right now. Even though we might be juggling
Yeah.
3 different projects.
Yeah.
The client
Oh
ain't gonna
yeah.
know that. They're gonna feel like their project is special and I'm putting my time into it.
Right.
So you
Right.
also, man, you have worked on so many different projects. And
Mm-hmm.
some of the graphics that I've seen you do some work for the Church of God in Christ. Let's talk about
Mm-hmm.
that. let's talk about the Church of God in Christ and how you got to do those different projects and experiences.
Listen, shout out to Bishop Don W. Shelby Jr.
Yes,
When I
sir.
tell you Bishop Shelby, the jurisdictional prelate of Michigan, Southwest Fifth
Yeah.
Ecclesiastical Jurisdiction.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. He is one of the, I'd say, contemporary generals within churchdom
Mm.
who understands the balance between business and church.
Yeah.
He understands that there is um, creativity, that there is a space for branding and marketing within the church.
Yeah.
And he has allowed me to assist him in the growth of that by way of marketing and branding. He made me the marketing and branding director for the jurisdiction.
Mm.
And so for all of our services, we end up with a whole branded look. And as soon as the spotlight turned on him within the Church of God in Christ,
Yeah.
my phone blew up.
Wow.
My phone immediately blew up. And so um, I've been called on for a number of different pieces, especially even during the pandemic. So, the AIM convention and a lot of different conferences went virtual this year.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was easier for them to call on me to be able to do a number of those pieces.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a big, and the thing is that he's open to so much creativity
Yeah.
that it's crazy, because if anybody knows who Bishop Shelby is, and with Shelby Five, they have so many different ideas. And so, because of their willingness to think way outside the box, it's like a box. What's a box? They think so far outside of the box to where it allows for a designer such as myself
Mm-hmm.
to go there,
Mm.
to completely go there. So, for instance, what we ended up doing for this year's Holy Convocation, it was called the virtual gathering.
Okay.
So, um, I came up with this coined phrase of from from your living room to the control room.
Mm.
And what I did was visually marry. If you brought back up the first slide, the gold slide with Bishop Shelby, you would see behind him looks like a soundboard and a control room.
Mm.
Okay. And we place that visualization within a church. And so you've got stained glass windows that looks like it's inside a church. You got stained glass windows.
Mm.
You've got the screens and everything that looks like you're sitting in a control room. And then you
Yeah.
got the boardroom. And so it's bringing that entire visualization into the church.
Man, that's
And
sweet.
from here, we brought the church into your homes because we had to do that entirely virtual.
Yo, that's you doing it. You making it happen, yo. I was looking at I'm like, yo, and I saw these graphics and I was like scrolling like, who did these? Sick.
And we did some promos where I actually had feeds, actual video feeds moving in
On
all
those
of those
screens.
screens. Yes,
You gotta
yes.
send me that joint, man. Man-Made Productions.
Man, I had so much fun with that. I had so much
Listen,
fun
man,
with that.
y'all go follow her. Man-Made Productions. Rochelle Mann. I'm telling you, this lady will bless your life. She will bless your life and take your business, your ministry, your company to the next level. With these graphics, I'm talking about social media, graphics. What other type of graphics?
Web design, I mean, everything is virtual now. So we're doing a lot of things, a lot of designing for virtual events, concerts, virtual conferences, doing backstage production for
Mm,
conferences,
mm,
the whole nine. Those that have podcasts, and there's a lot of preachers and people who are out here podcasting They don't know how to multitask such as yourself. You
Mm.
know, they trying to figure it out, but they just want to turn the computer on and sit in front of a microphone. So they need producers who are backstage, directing all of this. So
Mm.
been doing it all. Been doing it all.
Wow. Making it happen. So Church of God in Christ.
Got to. Yep.
Um. So which one were you doing first? Because I know you were working on the All-Star Celebration.
The All-Star Gospel Celebration during NBA All-Star Weekend.
Mm. Let me pull
Yeah.
that up here.
Between that between that and Super Bowl Gospel Celebration,
Yeah.
I've been doing Super Bowl Gospel Celebration longer.
Mm. So you've been doing
Yeah.
the Super Bowl Gospel Celebration. Let me back that up. Man,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
anybody that's seen this commercial, you see these graphics, big plays.
How about that award? That award right there that we gave Russell Wilson, I
Yeah,
designed that award.
really.
I designed that award.
Like,
So what is hanging up now in his home is a piece of work that I designed hanging up
wow.
in his home.
Big plays, man. Like, let me ask you this quick side note. Like, what has been one of the
Yeah.
most rewarding things that you've experienced in like all your work?
Ooh, you know what? This is going to sound off script, but as stressful as it can be,
Yeah,
I do get a lot of fulfillment out of designing obituaries.
really.
Yes.
Wow.
I look at an obituary as a single piece
Mm,
that is a quick snapshot of a person's life,
mm,
their loved one's life. And when I'm able to capture everything that's that dash, they say you have a time in which you're born and there's a time that you die, but what happens in the middle of that dash? What happens with your dash?
mm,
Being that I've been given the opportunity to design a number of different um, obituaries for a number of different people, even people that I don't know. And I ask and I have conversations with family members, and then I present this look, and to see the look on their face or to hear the emotion
mm.
and them telling me thank you because you didn't know, but it seems like you were right there and you knew my husband, my brother, my mother, my daughter, you knew them
Hmm.
and you captured their life in this one piece.
Wow.
In this one piece. That's the most probably one of the most fulfilling things that I've ever done is obituaries.
Wow. I never even thought about that. However, now that you mention it, obituaries are almost like keepsakes. Like, I
They
couldn't even
are.
tell you how many obituaries I still have of, grandma, of my cousin. You
I
know what
have
I mean?
I have my father's hanging. My father's is
Wow.
hanging in a frame across the room.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to edit that joint in here. Cause like people don't understand, like I've seen some terrible obituaries. Some terrible ones, you know what I'm saying? With selfies on there and you know what I'm saying? And all kind of stuff. And it's like, this is how we gonna remember you. You know what I'm saying? Like
That. Yep.
gang signs and like terrible letters on there. And the classic one we've all seen with the wings on the back of a picture,
Yeah.
stuff like that. But
You holding your 40 and the middle finger up, but you got angel wings and a dove above your head. Okay, yeah, I got you.
yo,
But see, what's
yeah,
horrible? What's horrible? But you want to know what's horrible?
yeah.
When folks flyers start looking like obituaries. That's what's bad.
Yo, that's the
That
worst. Be
that
like, is this a
look, I
birthday
saw
party or
one
is this a funeral? What's going on here?
man. Listen, I saw somebody did something of, I think it was Nick Cannon last year or something like that. Baby, when I tell you the people's on social media, like, we're not gonna have a chance to watch his show. And this is before the show did what it did. We
Yeah.
can't watch his show anymore. Nick Cannon gone. I was like,
It was a
why y'all
flyer.
put him in some clouds? It was a
Yo.
flyer. It's like,
Yeah.
get that man out them clouds.
So can you help the people for me? Like, cause the viewers need to understand uh the difference between quality artwork, investing the first time, just doing it right. My slogan is do it right the first time. If you do it right the first time, you don't have to spend
Hmm.
additional money having somebody else to clean it up.
There
Like,
won't be a
you
next.
know what I mean? I've seen
There
like
won't be a
selfies.
next.
Like, explain to the viewers the type of pressure that we have put you through as a graphic artist, as a graphic director. The pressure that people have put you through, sending you
Oh,
what, screenshots, selfies.
listen, listen. Those two are the worst. So the ultimate in the car selfie
Mm-hmm.
that gets sent over to me time and time again. What's horrible is that folks don't realize that while you doing this, if you got on glasses,
We can see your
I
phone.
can see the steering wheel in your glasses. No, no,
Wow.
I see the steering wheel. How about that? Then I have to try to.
Uh,
Then if you got Pookie and Ray Ray's car seat in the
my
back
bad. Say that
seat,
again. That last part. After the
I
steering wheel.
said after the steering wheel, and then you got me trying to edit the steering wheel, and then you got the headrest. You got the
uh,
headrest that we got to try to crop out. Then you got little Jim Bob's car seat that's full of Cheetos over your shoulder,
oh
and
man.
we can tell that you're in the parking lot of Walmart because I can see the Walmart logo right above your head in the rearview
Through the
mirror over there,
window.
and then I could tell over here.
Yeah, man. So that's a whole nother
But you
conversation.
want to be the CEO,
So, oh, wow. So, number one, invest in the right photos. Like, spend a couple dollars, get you a headshot.
please,
40, $50, get you a decent
please.
headshot. So when you come to this young lady, when you come to Man Made Productions to say, I want a flyer, I need a banner for my website, I need a banner for my Facebook page, my company's YouTube channel, I need you to create a banner. Now you got some quality photos, you have some quality headshots. That'll make her job just a little bit more easier. Why don't you come?
And not only that,
Come on,
go.
people. Just oh man, what else?
So you got selfies, you got screenshots.
Mhm.
Let me help the people. Let me help. I'm gonna be churchy for 2 seconds. Let me help the people.
Help us today.
Screenshots reduce the quality,
Mm,
and whenever we have to blow something up, if I got to take something that is a small thumbnail,
mm.
and you want to be on a billboard on I-75, you're gonna look like somebody took some scissors and cut
Mm. Yeah,
all the way around you. That's what the lack of quality does.
yeah.
When we're doing flyers and or any designed piece,
Mm-hmm.
it is to draw a person into the experience.
Mm.
So I'm gonna help the people and give y'all a secret. Events that I have been invited to,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not trying to be, I'm not trying to be haughty. I'm not trying to be stuck up at all. This is just honest because this is the thought process of a lot of people that they probably don't tell you.
Yeah.
If I am invited to an event and your flyer is shabby,
Mm.
and I'm talking about ugly, like word art, Microsoft Word, I'm not coming.
That's true.
I'm not coming because it told me that you didn't think well enough of your event
Mm,
to invest even $100
mm.
into getting your flyer professionally made. You surely don't want me to come spend my $20 or $25 to come to your event because all it would have taken is 4 or 5 of us
Mm.
showing up and your flyer would have been paid for.
Just like that.
But instead, you wanted to do yourself. Yeah, I'm not coming.
Mm. Wow.
Yeah, I'm not coming. I'm not coming. And I don't. People will tell you I don't and won't come because it doesn't look appealing to me. So I'm not going to step in there and then waste my time
Mm-hmm.
possibly having an experience that is going to be subpar along with your visuals.
Mm. Wow.
Is what it is. I'm not going to waste my time like that. My time is too precious.
Yeah. That makes sense. I mean, it makes sense. Um,
Time is money, literally, for me.
yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, it don't take much to, like you said, put a couple of dollars, get a quality product that's going to capture somebody's eye. Once you capture somebody's eye, you got their attention. Once you got their attention, you may have somebody interested in coming to your event or watching, which is something that a lot of people are doing now. Let's talk about that.
Yeah,
Streaming events.
yeah,
A lot of our
yeah,
events now are being streamed because of the COVID
yeah.
pandemic. How has work been for you because of COVID? I like to say for a lot of people, COVID happened to them. But a lot of us
Mm-hmm.
creatives, videographers, photographers, graphic designers, I believe COVID happened for us. How has work
Yeah,
been for you for since COVID-19?
nonstop.
Mm,
I ain't got to even think about it. Work has been crazy. I, with all truth and honesty, have not spent or have not had to spend, let me put it to you that way. I have not had to purposely spend marketing dollars for man made productions during this pandemic
facts.
because it has been back to back.
Facts.
Straight.
Big facts.
I mean, like
Just like that.
Incredible Hulk facts.
COVID.
Like, and here's the thing, folks are like, okay, so I guess I gotta cancel my this, I gotta cancel my that,
Mm,
and then they were like, wait a minute, maybe I don't. And then they try to reach out to a creative, try to figure out, can you give me some create? We will pay you for a consultation
mm,
so that we can find out what some of your creative ideas are
mm.
and still do our whatever it is. And
Hey.
so the biggest word for this has been pivot. How have you pivoted during the pandemic?
Yeah. Man,
Pivoting during a pandemic.
that's good. Listen. Listen. Why is it important? Why is it important? For the people that may not understand, why do I need to pay for a consultation? Why do I need to pay you for a consultation?
Because in a mirror,
Mm-hmm.
you are where I have already been. And I made
Mm.
it out I made it out successfully.
Mm.
And I am in the boardrooms, well, virtual boardrooms. I'm in the boardrooms with the movers and the shakers
Mm.
who are having these creative conversations,
Mm.
saying what they are about to try out or what's about to happen. As a matter of fact, in having a consultation, here, I'll make it even easier. A lawyer handles legal issues
Mm-hmm.
or whatever. An accountant handles accounting.
Mm-hmm.
But in business, there are so many other hats,
Mm-hmm.
and there is no way possible that you can wear every single hat in business. You cannot.
Mm.
You are going to forget things, you are going to forsake things, you are going to mess things up.
Mm.
So you have to invest in the time and the brain power of someone who can ask you the key questions
Mm,
that will bring clarity to your vision
mm,
and help you get to, so that instead of looking in the mirror at somebody who was where you are,
mm,
instead you will be standing next to me because you will be in my shoes.
mm.
So the only way I can help you to get to where I am is through a consultation, is through a
Yo,
mentorship program, is
yeah.
through a training.
Facts. And people need to understand about consultations. Your time is valuable. You have
Yeah.
paid not only have you invested time, but you have invested your money into going to school to learn what you do. So, a consultation provides somebody the opportunity to get what you learned in 4 years, maybe even
Hmm.
longer. You get
Oh,
to
yeah,
you tell
definitely longer.
you can solve their problem in 10 minutes. That's why
Listen,
consultation. You got to pay,
you got to
man.
pay to pick my
You
brain.
got to pay
There's a
me.
lot there.
Yes.
You got to pay to pick my brain.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, so here's something that I have not. You are getting the exclusive on this right here. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Are you ready?
Mm,
I am John Maxwell certified. This is
mm,
the first time that I am publicly saying it.
mm.
I am John Maxwell certified. I have the certifications, I have the gold pins and the training and the receipts to prove it.
Yo, listen.
Now you know that costs a grip.
Listen, for those who don't understand, would you explain just a little bit what that means?
The coaching and the training that comes along with it, the time that's dedicated is like a master's on top of a master's.
Mm,
And so with being John Maxwell certified, I've been trained on not only how to think, but also how to listen, and then how to ask the right questions, and then how to not only think within my scope, but within someone else's scope. And so, what I've done is that I've turned the curve. And in addition to just being the CEO of Man Made Productions, I've found myself turning into, and
mm.
this is a phrase that I am now coining, I am now considered a business therapist.
Now you talking about John C. Maxwell, right?
Listen, the John Maxwell group, team, the whole. I
Man,
one of my pens. I got one of my pens is sitting right over here.
listen,
I got a pen right on the other side of my desk.
listen.
One of my gold pens to show you.
I read a book by John C. Maxwell, right? I'm trying to remember the name of the book. I believe it
Because
was.
he's got a gazillion of them.
I believe it was Think for a Change. And one of the quotes he said in that book, you ready for this? John C.
Go for it.
Maxwell said, I'm a paraphrase. I'm not going to say it correctly,
Mm-hmm.
but it was something along the
Mm-hmm.
lines of the solutions to the problem we face today will not be on the same level of solutions that we used to face. It was something along those lines. And what I took away from it was, to make a long story short, we cannot solve solutions today with the same solutions we used to fix them with 30 years ago.
No.
Long story short,
Prime example.
go ahead.
You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Blockbuster versus Netflix.
Mm. They figured out, listen, Netflix figured out a solution that's going to be 10 times faster, even maybe a little more cheaper. Quick. Better.
Yeah.
I don't have to go to I don't have to walk in a building and search for this movie. It might take me 5 minutes to find it when I can just click right here on the couch,
Or
type it
wait
in.
for somebody to bring the video back.
And if they bring it back.
If they bring it back. I mean, do you remember when we used to
Wow.
walk in a Blockbuster video and there used to be a whole wall of the latest video that would come out on a Thursday or Friday night,
New
and we were
releases.
rushing in there to go ahead and check it out. And then if we got there too late in the day, we had to wait until somebody
Somebody
watched
else
it and
brought
brought
it
it back if
back.
they brought it back.
Man. Yo. So we are problem solvers. Being in our
Yeah.
career field, I am a multimedia specialist. I like to call it a multimedia
Mm-hmm.
specialist because
Uh-huh.
the primary product that my company offer, not product, but the primary skill that my company offer is videography. But we solve
The
way more
solution.
solutions than that. You know what I mean? That's just one solution that
Mm-hmm.
you know, that we come up with is
Mm-hmm.
videography, and we offer consultations to people, but also voiceover production, also video editing.
Mm-hmm.
These are many different, you know what I mean, skills that fall
Mm-hmm.
under the umbrella of videography. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that quote from John C. Maxwell has always stuck with me. Is like my
Yeah.
dad. I got in the game, the video production industry, because of my dad. My dad got me started when I was 11 in
Mm-hmm.
church, just filming little
Mm-hmm.
small,
Mm-hmm.
not small, but filming services, church services. And that
Mm-hmm.
grew to filming conferences, that grew to filming seminars, that grew to filming and
Mm-hmm.
live streaming. You know what I mean? When streaming became a thing in, around
Yep.
2011, 2012, that's when streaming really started.
I, I mean, think about it. How many services and conferences and everything have you streamed from home
Man, it that
during this pandemic?
yeah, I've uh, at least a dozen from the crib. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So like now the problems, the solutions that we're coming up with are things that my dad and them didn't have 30 years ago. There's no way in the world
Mm-hmm.
what they did 30 years ago will work for now. So right here on the backstage, there are things that we like to talk about. We like to talk about the pros, the cons, and the challenges we face as industry professionals. So I asked the question: 3 of the worst things that you have either seen or experienced on set. What are some things that you've experienced or seen on set that you had to help solve?
Oh gosh, miscues is always a big one. Plain and simple, because when you're live there doing whatever you got to do,
Mm,
and you're trying to portray whatever it is to people that are watching, they don't know what's going on behind the scenes, and
mm,
so what they're seeing and hearing is one thing, and what's really happening is another. And so some stories of what has happened.
mm,
There was one. I can't even remember where it was at, but the way that a miscue happened and camera angles and what was happening on stage, it sounded as though and looked as though someone may have ran into the venue with an emergency, because everyone went into a panic, and you got camera angles swooping around and looking in the audience, and folks are frantic like, oh my god, and it's like, huh, what in the world is going on? And you seeing these faces and the miscues of the camera angles and the people that's on stage.
mm.
It's just like, what in the world is happening? And so the folks that's watching, all they see is all this fast movement and these faces, like, so they don't know what's
Oh,
going on.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So for those who don't understand what a miscue is, a cue, explain what a miscue is. Some people might not know the different cues that take place
Okay.
during a live show.
So during a live show, I mean, it's basically you have to think ahead. I'll start here. When you're a creative director
Mm-hmm.
or you're in videography, at the whole production, you really have to think a few seconds ahead of time so you can prepare the team for where the next shot is,
Mm-hmm.
for the next sound and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And so a cue is saying, hey, get ready because we are about to do X, Y, and Z.
The next
And a
part of the show.
miscue happens when it's missed.
Ooh,
That's
yeah,
so when that miss turns into a mishap
yeah.
and a mix up, then it conjugates to the viewer,
Yeah.
like what is happening. And so the message that is being shown on the screen a lot of times is thrown off.
So was it? So the what happened in this case, was it a miscue of somebody supposed to come out on stage and they didn't come out, or was it a miscue
it
that?
was it was
Yeah, what was it?
someone was supposed to come out on stage, and then the music was different, and then all of the chaos at once just was like,
Mm,
what in the world is happening?
yeah.
And so while you got faces that's like,
Mm,
you have viewers
mm,
that were trying to figure out, oh my God, what's wrong?
yeah.
Because so many things are happening. And, you know, because of the day and the age of social media, folks will just go so far left field. They were like, somebody passed out on the soundboard or somebody having a heart attack. They'll say some of the most outlandish things
Right.
to think the worst and then be brought back to into reality.
Right. Right.
But I mean, miscues, it could be a wardrobe malfunction. We
Right.
saw what that did.
So how was something like that fixed? Like, how do you bounce back? How do you capture the audience attention and bring the show back from a miscue? How did
You
that
have
work?
you know, between one, when you re-air something, you definitely have some edited parts. Or if you have a comedic host,
Mm,
such as a Ricky Smiley or somebody else,
right.
let him reel it all the way back in.
He'll
You
bring
got
it
to
back.
have people that think quick on their feet. Oh yeah, he gonna bring it all the way back,
Right.
all the way
Or my
back.
man, what's my man name? I go to the Stellar Awards every couple years, and we have
Mm-hmm.
it's crazy because there's at the Stellars there's a on air host and an off
Yep,
air host, and
yep. We
Jonathan
do the same
Slocum,
thing.
that's his name.
Yep,
So
Jay Sloak.
I think Ricky Smiley is the on air host, and then when we're doing like commercial breaks and stuff like that, Jonathan Slocum has been the off air host. And when you got guys like that who that's what they do, they
David
they'll
Mann.
he's another one. They literally can make a joke out of the situation and bring the show back and make the show warm again.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
So
what's up.
we've had that to happen where the live audience, you know, was one thing, but then we went into post edit production.
Mm,
We were able to kind of smooth some things out,
mm.
and you know, everything worked out. You know,
Facts.
other ones have been, you know, folks needing to go to the bathroom, or you
Mm.
know, makeup malfunction where lashes is falling off, and
Not during a
you
close
know,
up
it was
though.
just
During a close up shot, oh my goodness, I would be like, yo, okay, let's cut to a wide shot because her lash is falling off.
had had to
Ooh.
had to, and then I had to say, just keep the music going, just keep flowing, because it was actually like a church recording type session.
Yeah.
So I was like, had to tell the musicians just create a worship and everything, and then I said just keep it going. I told the background singers I was like worship, and so I had to walk up there, get the leader, and walk the leader off and say your lash
Oh
is
my
gone.
goodness. For real?
Put the lash back on there, and then get them back on stage, finish out the worship moment, and then finish out the set.
Wow. And see, things like that, the rest of the congregation might not have even noticed.
At
Hopefully.
all. At, at all. Because the pastor was like, when we got back into the set,
Yeah.
they caught me in the corner. They were like, what
What?
happened?
Yeah.
What did you go up there? What you go up there and get in the middle of worship and everything? And I said, yeah, lash malfunction.
Mm. And they probably was like glad they ain't see it.
Listen, they were clueless, but I did it so smooth
Mm.
because I just had the band to keep going. Because remember, it's it's the total experience.
Mm-hmm.
When you're a creative director, it's curtain to curtain, the total experience from beginning to end and everything in the middle.
Mm.
And so I just had to keep the experience going
Mm.
for everybody else that was in the room,
Mm.
except for the person who was lashless.
So, like, as a creative, for the people that don't understand what we do, when you're
Mm-hmm.
talking about behind the scenes, when you're talking about backstage,
Mm-hmm.
we have
Mm-hmm.
to have instincts like no other. We might have
Mm-hmm.
to run up there and grab, somebody
Mm-hmm.
that's doing something that they ain't got no business, or we might have to help somebody out. The shoe might be falling off, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
Mm-hmm.
like we have to pay attention to small details.
Oh gosh.
I mean, tiny details. And that comes with preparation. That comes with
Yeah.
planning, putting a show together, and that
Yes.
comes with
Yes.
like I said before, instincts. Because if you are
Yes.
familiar with whatever, if it's a live performance, whatever show it is, you kind of ahead of time already know what to expect. So the minute
Mm-hmm.
something get off cue or time starts slowing down, you kind of have to steer that thing back into place. It's like
Mm-hmm.
goat and
And
sheep.
people don't realize they don't realize that a run of show,
Mm-hmm.
which is the rundown of the show
Mm.
for, let's say, Super Bowl Gospel Celebration, because okay, we've been on BET. I think this is about to be our 6th year,
Mm.
and everything is down to the second
Mm.
because you got commercials and you got time slots and time frames.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So everything is timed out within a production.
Mm.
We know exactly how long the tracks are, how long the intros are, and everything. And the run of show is to the second.
Mm.
Boom, 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 boom.
Mm.
And the planning alone for that
Mm.
is ridiculous.
To the second,
It's
man.
ridiculous. For weeks, we're meeting on that for weeks,
Mm.
trying to figure out who are we going to have on the show,
Mm.
making sure that people aren't late.
Mm.
And then once we figure out what exactly their song is going to be,
Mm.
we know it down to the second. We have to map everything out because from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m., that's it.
Mm.
That's not, we can't have no 2, 3 minute grace
Mm.
because that's going over into the next show in that slot.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So there's a lot of planning that goes into what we do. So those people who are out here just saying, hey, B.Rut, I need you to come shoot this service,
Mm-hmm.
or B, I need you to come shoot this commercial, because commercials have time blocks.
I need details.
They listen,
Who, what, when, where, why,
it's a whole,
how.
all of it, all of it.
As much
And for how
details as you can
long?
give me. Yeah. Facts.
And then they tell you to smash 5 minutes of stuff into 15 seconds.
Mm.
So there's a lot more than just showing up, plugging in your camera, and turning on and pointing and shooting.
Mm-hmm.
What we do is so much more than that, which is why we are so valuable.
Mm-hmm.
Even shooting services and all that other stuff, there's so much that goes into the planning
Mm-hmm.
of what we do. We have a countdown, we have a praise and worship segment, we have whatever he's ministering. Hopefully, he knows his scriptures ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
All of that stuff goes into play into our planning. So we do more than just turn on our camera or turn on a computer,
Right.
which is why I say again, the business side of it, or learning some of the administrative things, how to use Microsoft Office so that you can type out, plans and know how to chart things out. All of these things are detrimental to the success of being a solution
Mm.
for so many people that are out here.
Wow. What is it like working with BET?
Woo! It's It's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's honestly a lot, and I say that from not from a negative aspect, but to know that every week I'm on a conference call with probably 75 other people,
Mm.
and every little thing has a team of people. So you have, the logistics. All they make sure is they take care of the talent's travel. Then you have, let's say, scheduling. They're making sure that everything is handled well with the timing of commercials and things like that, because certain people have paid money on BET side to have their commercial aired between this time slot.
Mm.
So they're working with the people who are handling the run of show. There are so many different departments
Mm-hmm.
and so many key people that are a part of the entire process that is
Mm.
crazy. Um, but BET, I will say, has done a very good job
Mm.
this year with pivoting for like how they did the BET Awards and
Yeah.
how they creatively did some things and all that virtual stuff, how they did the Soul Train Awards.
Mm.
I think all of that stuff helped to redeem BET.
Mm. Pivot. Knowing,
Pivot, you got
knowing
to.
when as soon as this thing
So
happened, this
stay
pandemic.
tuned.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. So folks need to stay tuned to how we gonna do the Super Bowl gospel celebration this year.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. How has it been for you, the many years that you've done the Super Bowl gospel celebration, and what have you seen progress over, the years?
It's been so many things. I could do a whole show on just that show alone.
Mm.
The NFL Players Choir is a great part of what we do, to have current and former athletes who showcase their beliefs, who have inspirational stories, and then me being a part of hearing, not only hearing those stories and getting to meet those players, but to also share it through social media and whatever creative elements, flyers, and the whole nine. Being able to share that. So for once, the man that's behind the helmet actually has a face,
Mm.
actually has a heart, has an emotion beyond being on the O line.
Mm.
He
That's
can
what's up.
actually, tell his testimony. Like Tommy Harris, his testimony of how, one year, came to the show, and shortly after the show, his wife died randomly of a brain
Yeah,
aneurysm.
I remember that. That was the guy with did he have dreads or
Yes,
braids or something like that?
yes, yes. He
Yeah,
had
I
dreads.
remember that. You was
Tommy
there.
Harris.
You was there
Yeah.
for that. Wow.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
I know
was
Tommy.
that was powerful to see his, like, how he was encouraged and he was still like telling the viewing audience don't give up like that. Yeah, I was
Listen,
sniffling a little bit after
life,
seeing that.
listen, listen. That
Man.
life is a thing that happens.
Mm.
That whole segment,
Mm.
man, yeah. And so those things, being able to experience those life moments with them is just a small piece of the puzzle when it comes down to Super Bowl gospel celebration. I have I have, let's say, gained so much respect for Melanie Few,
Mm.
who's the founder. Even her story as to how she started the show, they doubted her, but now she is the only, not only African American, but only African American, only female. She's both the only African American and only female to be a sanction holder for the Super Bowl,
Mm.
meaning she is the only one. She can only, get this,
Mm.
use Super Bowl in her show name.
Mm. Wow.
So can't nobody else say Super Bowl concert, Super Bowl. You will get slapped with a lawsuit from the NFL.
Wow.
She is the only one that can. She pays thousands of dollars for the sanction to be
Mm.
backed and supported by the NFL. Like you saw there, you had Ahmad Rashad and Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
at the show. And that show was the year that we had Snoop.
Mm.
We had Snoop Dogg. That was in Minnesota.
Yeah.
And then those, yeah, all of that. So we've had some of the best,
Mm.
and I've been able to design and put together some of the best
Mm.
as far as the talent is concerned. So what's coming up with this year's show? Well,
Wow.
stay tuned.
Man, you have been getting that work,
Got to.
and not only um, the Super Bowl Gospel Celebration, but you've also worked on the Allstar Gospel Celebration. Like, what is that
Yep.
like?
That's been so that's one of the newer celebrations that I've been a part of, one of the newer gospel platforms. I've been the creative director for almost 3 years now, and that has been, definitely amazing. It's different from the other entities because, with basketball players, they have an opportunity to kind of be more pronounced
Mm.
in their beliefs. But it's definitely been great. It's definitely been positive. This year's was in Chicago, and we had Leandria Johnson, Ty Tribbett. We had Fred Hammond scheduled, but a snowstorm had actually hit Chicago,
Mm.
and so Fred couldn't make it. Then we had, some other entities and things like that. That was electrifying. But the biggest thing that I will always take away from this year's show was that I was able to co-design and direct the Kobe Bryant tribute.
Mm.
That because it was fresh after he passed.
Mm.
It was fresh after he passed. It was within weeks. And so that experience, if people ask me, okay, between football and basketball, what's your favorite? Well, I was about to play basketball in college.
Mm.
So basketball,
Yeah.
is my preferred sport. And I know it a little bit better.
Mm.
So that has been a great experience.
Wow. And this piece you did for Kobe, like you said, that was fresh. Like, I would never forget. I had just left church when Kobe passed. I went to this restaurant to get me a catfish sandwich. I'm sitting there killing it, you know. And I look at the TV in the restaurant, and I'm like, man, that must be Kobe's birthday or something. Why not? I've been scrolling today on, Facebook. I've seen people post pictures, and I'm looking on the news, and I'm like, why they keep showing pictures? Oh, it must be his birthday. And I read the headline, I'm like, oh, this got to be a joke. You can't be serious.
Listen,
So,
jacked me all the way up.
like,
All the way up. Because how about I actually had to help redo two shows. So he passed the week or week and a half before Super Bowl.
mm-hmm,
So we had to change part of our script, and we
mm,
had Travis Green to do a piece in honor of Kobe.
mm.
And then a week and a half after Super Bowl was All-Star weekend.
Yo, that was fast.
So we had to rewrite that
Y'all
script.
had to work quick.
Listen,
Mm,
and we didn't know exactly what we were going to be able to be cleared because, again, there's legal things, legal ramifications that we have to stay in alignment with.
mm,
And so we had to get things approved because you can't just show the NBA logo on the screen and use it
mm.
a part of your show.
Yeah.
And you have NBA executives there on the front row. You will get slapped with a huge fine and fee, and they will shut you down for life. So we had to get that stuff done and approved.
Quick.
But the greatest part of that was when the NBA executives asked the founder of the show, what NBA creative design agency did you use for all of your elements this year?
Wow.
And she said, I didn't use anything of what the NBA usually gives out because I didn't get the NBA support.
Mm,
I used my creative director.
mm.
And
Mm.
that that just blew my mind.
What was it like for you to see the artwork that you created? This wonderful logo. I mean, this design. What was it like to see that on the main stage on the big screen? Millions of people
It
watching.
it's 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 one thing to design it, know and love your work. It's
Mm-hmm.
one thing to do that. But then to have that moment when things kind of calm down and you could sit down and say, dang, you did that.
Yeah.
And then, girl, you did that.
You did that.
It's that type of thing. You did that.
Yeah.
So it's that whole fulfillment. And when you're in the room and people don't necessarily know who you are by face,
Yeah.
they know who you are by name,
Mm.
and you hear them genuinely talking about you, I'm like, man, that's fire, man, that's hot. That whole piece there that I pulled together,
Yeah.
every now and then I still look at it and still slightly tear up.
Mm.
Kareem Rush was the former Laker that introduced that segment.
Yeah.
And when that came up on the screen, you could hear some of the whimpering and crying and tears
Mm.
in the audience.
Wow.
And I was in the control room having a moment because I'm like,
Yeah.
this is really real. And everybody just kind of had to sigh because, like I said, it was fresh.
Mm.
It had just happened within 2, 3 weeks.
Mm. Wow.
So, like I said, about some of the other stuff, it's when you're able to create a piece that allows a person to live in the raw and true emotion of the moment,
Mm.
that's rewarding for us creatives.
Mm-hmm.
That's so rewarding for us
Absolutely.
Be- because we were able to make the thing come true or come alive again.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. I did a piece. Shout out to my family in Grand Rapids, Lighthouse Full Life Center Church. When my good friend Bishop Sapp,
Yes,
when he retired, well, no, he's not retired, but when he stepped down as senior pastor of Lighthouse, his committee
yes.
called me and asked me to do a farewell video of him using his late wife, Melinda Sapp, using some of the video
Listen,
and some of the pictures of her. You know what I'm saying? So I had to create this collage of videos and pictures of the history of them starting that ministry. You know what I'm saying? To him
listen.
stepping down and moving to Texas. So for me to create that, it was like, ooh, man. And
I guarantee you
yeah,
he's watching that over and over again for the rest of his life.
facts. And just the response that I got from it, the people calling afterwards, like, yo, because I wasn't there, that whatever service that was, the going away service they
Hmm.
had for him. But just
Hmm.
the response of people like, yo, that video, man, you know what I mean? That touched his
Yeah,
heart.
I
And
heard about it.
you know what I'm saying? So it was like you said, the biggest reward isn't the checks. I can honestly say that the biggest reward of it is touching somebody's heart. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Changing somebody's life. Somebody might have been on
yeah.
the edge of depression. Somebody might have been on the edge of suicide.
Hmm.
But a graphic or flyer that you
Hmm.
created, you know what I mean, might have
Hmm.
reached them in a way where it made them interested in going to whatever event they got the help they needed. You know
Yep,
what I'm saying? So
exactly.
just what we do, man. I don't take it lightly. And for everybody that's
At
watching,
all.
I want to encourage you, just to keep your thoughts, your minds, and your prayers for us as creatives, because those that are
Yeah.
creatives, I believe, have a great challenge, and
Hmm.
we carry weight. We carry big responsibility
Hmm.
in this world
Hmm.
of shaping and creating memories that people are going to watch for years and years to come. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Any other events that you've been blessed and fortunate to do graphic work for or work behind the scenes that we didn't mention in the opening or throughout the show? I know you done just tons and tons of stuff.
I mean, I've done some pieces for some universities, for a few universities, for Ricky Smiley,
Mm,
for TV One, ABC Family, of course, a number of big name religious leaders,
mm,
and things like that. So yeah, it's definitely an array of individuals,
sweet.
and of course, artists, entertainers,
Hmm.
things like that.
Listen, people, get your consultation, man. Listen, she is available for you. Hit her up, email her, inbox her on social media, go to the website, send an email through the website. You know what I mean? So they can reach you. So tell everybody where they can reach you.
You can actually send a generic design inquiry. If you just have questions about certain items, go to manmadeproductions.net. MANNMADE productions with an S.net. And at the top banner area, you'll see design inquiry. Hit that and check off just all the things that you may have a question about. Let us know you have a question. We'll get back with you and schedule a time to go ahead and have that conversation.
Is there anything that you can let the viewers know? Maybe there's somebody that's interested in getting into graphics, anybody looking to be a creative director, somebody that might be interested in going to school, somebody that might want to shadow you, somebody that might be interested in doing what you do. What advice would you give them?
Um, I think one of the biggest things is that it's okay to have other people in your lane. And by that, I mean, don't be intimidated by the other creatives that are out there. These last, what, 8, 9, 10 months have shown how much a creative is needed. If you learn the skill that you want to hone in on and perfect, if it's just flyers or if it's just logos, read up on, ask to shadow, study, pick apart your lane. But it's okay that there are other flyer designers or logo designers that are out there. Learn the terminology, and then when you learn it and spend that time, you'll understand the value that's behind it. And when you understand your value, it'll immediately leak over into your customers, and they'll be able to understand how valuable you are and be willing to pay that value that you set. Don't be intimidated by the other designers that are out there. Embrace and connect with them. There's plenty for us to eat.
Rochelle, thank you so much for being a guest right here on the backstage. I gotta have you back on the show. We
Sure.
got so much more ground to cover,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna have
Yeah.
you back.
Let's do it.
All right. Thank you so much, man. Love you much.
Love you too, man.
Yo, that's my girl, Rochelle, man. Y'all check her out. Y'all go follow her, support her business, respect her name, respect her grind, respect what she do. Thank you for tuning in to the backstage. This is your boy, your friend, your partner, Byron B.Rut, aka the little big fella, the mitten made midget, the Midwest mogul. All right. Until next time, we out.
Log on. Right here.